My name is Sterling Price, and today I'll be going over United House products. For introduction to the case, they pretty much are in need of an efficient, effective, and responsive way to supply their chain management plan. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm essentially going to be developing a management purchase plan that will efficiently allocate all of their grills. And I plan on doing this by holding a pilot program near one of their distribution centers and pretty much testing out the process that I come up with. And if it works out well, the plan is for the company to try to integrate my process into the rest of their store locations. As far as the situational analysis is concerned, to summarize, there is pretty much the essential problem of not being able to keep the right amount of inventory in the right place at the right time. And that is due to the mean absolute percent error being ridiculously high. And that's high because of the forecasting techniques that the company has been using, which have been resulting in these high percents of error, which is going to result in these salient issues being understock or overstock. And the understock is affecting the stakeholders being the customers because if there's not enough of the inventory there, then they can't get what they want. And overstock is affecting the marginal loss because if there's too much there, then we're going to have high markdown prices, and that's not good either. And another issue is there's been several attempted inventory fixes that have all failed. And with that, the recommended proposal is going to be push stores, and those are stores like all of our higher selling stores, like our A stores and B stores, and we're going to be creating a standardized mix container just so stores can get a good mix of all of the higher selling grills and then a few of the lower selling grills just in case. So identification of the issues or how we're going to be solving them is pretty much we're going to be using linear regression to improve MAPE scores, and all the failed plans of implementation will be resolved with the new plan that we're coming up with now. And for the standardized mixed container, we're doing that so that we can get rid of the 20% premium the suppliers have, and they have that because it's kind of inconvenient to just ask them to just mix a whole bunch of different containers up whenever we ask them to. So with the standardized mixed container, they can already have it packed, and they'll pretty much get rid of that premium. And what we're going to do is going to be pushing shipment to A stores, all of our top stores, and we're going to be pushing them because they already sell more. So because they sell a lot more, they'll be able to get everything out a lot easier. And worst case scenario is all of our top selling stores will never be understocked. So worst case scenario is they only oversell. And we're going to do pull shipment for our C stores, and because of that, we're doing that really because our C stores equate for more than half of all of our locations. And being as that they equate for half of all of our locations, they only make about under 40% of the total profit that the entire company has come up with throughout the years. And what we're going to do is we're going to evenly distribute the flow of shipment in and out of the distribution centers just so there's no backup in inventory. So the problems, like I've already previously mentioned, are the misplaced inventory, the poor service levels that are coming from the understock when customers aren't able to get what they asked for, and the high markdown costs that are coming from the overstock that is pretty much occurring whenever we have too much of any inventory in, and the marginal loss is also a result of that. So the objectives are going to essentially be to create a detailed purchase and distribution plan, and that plan is going to essentially allocate all inventory. And if it were to all go correct, it's going to increase service levels with proper inventory placement and reduce markdown costs on the same coin by not having excessive inventory laying around. So some key stakeholders are customers, distribution centers, store managers, executives, and merchandise groups. The customers are the most important stakeholder because at the end of the day, without their business, there is no business. Whatever they want is what they need to get in order to keep the business running smoothly. The distribution centers have had problems because they can't really transport all the grills back and forth very simply because they run using a conveyor system, and the grills are really big and bulky, so they can't really use the conveyor system to move the grill. So they had to use like a forklift system, and they don't have really a lot of those, so they're not able to transfer everything out as fast as they would want to, which is what leads to the 6-month waiting period. Store managers want to keep 100% of stock in stores at all time, but the problem with that is the executives don't like it because the executives don't like all of that high marginal loss that's going to come from all the excessive inventory being in the store after the fact. And the merchandise group has problems with the forecasting, which is leading to these high MAPE scores. which is leading to the poor distribution of grills and having all these different places over and understocked. So some of the conflicts are that the customer demand doesn't meet the distribution center shipping, just meaning that the distribution center isn't shipping enough to certain stores, and that's causing the customer to not be able to get what they want. And the distribution center wants an even flow of inventory instead of just peak flow being shipped out, and that's what the store managers want. The store managers want to just be able to order what they want when they need it and have it get there, and that's not how they work because, once again, the 6 month lead time. And the impacts of the plan will essentially be to properly stock all the locations in order to have everything be where it needs to be when it needs to be there. As far as quantitative data is concerned, these are the demand profiles of each of the grills, and as you can see, the numbers and demands are going up for units each year. So as long as the demand continues to increase, then it will continue to be an upward trend. With that upward trend, profits will always go up. And because of that same demand profile that we just looked at, we can tell that March is the start of the peak season and September ends it. So with that information, we should make October the reorder point, because with the 6 month lead time, by the time October gets the order in, it'll be back into the locations by the time March rolls around. And when March rolls around, it'll be the start of peak season. So when peak season comes around, all the grills are already going to be accounted for, and it's going to allow everything to flow a lot smoother. As far as our research findings are concerned, we've came to the conclusion that grills are being shipped from China, and their economy is currently on a downward trend due to the COVID-19 outbreak, and they're expected to make a comeback in mid-2021. However, at the end of the day, they're still kind of struggling getting everything situated, which is causing slower shipment as usual. And with the business environment, household products are expected to grow just because more people are wanting more higher tech appliances. People are trying to get rid of their old stove, their old refrigerator, their old grill. People are trying to get more new things just to, it's more like a rite of passage type thing, just to like get something new. It's like gives you a sense of entitlement. And trends for projected grill sales also are projected to increase by 20% from the years of 2018 to 2027, even with COVID being taken into consideration. And the last thing is the grill market is highly competitive. And with that being said, if we don't have an item that a customer wants or a grill that a customer wants, then it's going to be no problem for them to just go to a different store and purchase that grill there. So alternative options would be other data sheets, other forecasting options, or weekly versus monthly look. Other data sheets like Datasheet 2, for example, it had the seasonality. It showed the demand, the sales dollars by the months, which was really good. However, it didn't really give you like specific data as far as what items are sold or what stores sell those items, so that's not good. Other forecasting options being the naive option, that was good because it's really simple. It's easy to do on like any type of computer. It doesn't require a lot of like computer processing. However, at the same time, it doesn't give you an accurate turning point, which would be something that we need with the high seasonality. And doing weekly versus monthly, weekly wouldn't really work as well just because the order period is already monthly base, which would make it a lot harder to keep up with if we did it weekly. And our selection is we chose the POS data just because it had more data points and it gave us all the information we needed. We chose linear regression because it projected the lowest MAPE store, and the monthly because, once again, grills are shipped every 6 months. So it would just make sense to keep the same format. So the final recommendation is to push shipment of A and B stores just so they have easy access. C stores will be able to pull as they need it. And for the mixed standard container, we're going to do 45% having the highest selling grills, 35% the second highest selling grills, and a 5 and 5% mix of the lower selling grills, so it's an even distribution of all of them. Short-term plans, just order inventory if it gets under 20%. It shouldn't given the new plan, but if it were, just do it like that. And long-term, order growth by dollars over quantity because the quantity is going to stay the same, but at the end of the day, you won't know what you made because of the markdown prices. So in conclusion, United House would therefore increase productivity as well as service level across all stores, and marginal loss and inventory turnover would also improve as well.
Record